People of God, people of God. Listen, I want to tell you something. Yesterday, I did a lot of reflecting after meeting this angel, one of God's angels here on earth. This man of God, very successful angel too. He's a multi-millionaire. He was showing me his property, his equipment on his property. He has over millions of dollars of equipment on his property. He has a business where he started, earns over 7 figures. And he was talking with me yesterday. He said I reminded him of his wife. And he said, I've been married 3 times. Oh, I want to say this. If you don't like the way I click my tongue, don't watch my YouTube channel, okay? That's not, you can keep that comment to yourself. I mean, if you don't like that or anything about me personally, that's something within the inside of you. That is not my issue. This is me. This is who I am. So although you may like the way I do this, but you don't like this about me, that's your issue. It's not mine, sweetheart. And it's not going to stop anything. You know, you're not going to change anything. So comments like that, you get blocked and deleted and life still goes on, right? You got to work out your own issues. So now you just watch me and stay mute. But anyway, so this guy, this older gentleman, this angel who I call him an angel. He's a man of God. But he told me, he said, sweetheart, he said, he said, you remind me of my wife. He said, now, this is my 3rd wife. And I looked at him and he said, this is why we shouldn't judge books by the cover as well. He said, this is my 3rd wife. He said, but I was young. He said, see, I'm 71 years old. And I looked at him again. The man don't nearly look 70, which, you know, in this day and time, when it comes to certain cultures, you don't know. I don't know if there's a certain look for age, because I have an uncle who's 73 and he can get around and dance and enjoy himself. He can do whatever he wants in this life. He was a successful business owner. He's retired himself. You know, he can do whatever he wants, you know, and he's always taking care of his family, right? So he has the favor of the Father. But anyway, this man, he says he was 71. I said, wow. I said, well, you don't look 71. But then I said, well, I shouldn't say you don't look 71. You look, I would have expected you to be a different age, right? I said, you look like maybe you could be in your mid-50s or something like that. And he was like, no, baby. He said, I'm 71. And he said, I went to the doctor the other day and got a clean health bill. He said, me and my wife, he said, we're doing good. And he said, my wife is 60. I'm 71. He says, now this is my 3rd wife. But he said, here's the thing. He said, I was young, always made a lot of money, always was successful. He said, and I always wanted to be married. But I was looking for a wife based on the physical aspects. He said, you know, sometimes how y'all women keep yourself up on the physical, adorned. And he said, you know, I was looking for that. I kept marrying the magazine type of woman. The Coca-Cola body type of woman. He said, but I kept marrying the women, and he said, I realized I didn't have the wife, I didn't have the love, I didn't have the support. It was more like a burden and more like a bill. And he said, I got 13 children. And I looked again, I'm just listening. But he said, I love all my children, I know all of them, I love them. And he said, all my children are grown, they've gotten into their own things, and you know, some have started businesses. Everybody's doing their own things. He says, you know, I have my youngest baby. She's she recently graduated from college. You know, so as I listened to this man talk, he was blessing my soul. Because as he continued to talk, he said, you know, my wife, when I finally found a wife, he said, I realized it wasn't on the outside. He said, my wife is a beautiful lady. He said, but she was different than the previous wives. I didn't have to take care of her when I met her. He said, my wife, you remind me of her because you guys have the same type of business that you're running. When I met my wife, she was doing that same type of business. And he said, my wife always was very independent, and she was a hard worker, you know. And he said, so we became friends first, and I learned her, and she was what I needed, you know. So that's, you know, I learned what a wife was through my wife, basically. But make a long story short, what he was saying was the jealousy never ends. Now, mind you, I told you this man, he's 71 years old, his wife is 60. He said, to this day, baby, he said, we've helped a lot of people, and we still help people. He said, everything, we have no debt, we have no bills, right? So these people still have their business, they're in total profit. He said, my wife, she's decided she wanted to retire herself, but she can do whatever she wants to do. He said, but I'm going to tell you something, you being younger, you're coming up where we've gone. He said, part of your success is because you're not surrounded by people, and you haven't taken on to bring a lot of people with you and try to hire a lot of people. He said, my wife, she tried, when she was running her business, she tried to hire folks. He said people would become jealous of her, envious. They would just break stuff. They would, you know, make all types of violations, didn't report stuff, just tried to bring her down because of jealousy. He said, so when my wife saw that, and she saw how jealous-hearted people was, she said, even now my wife don't have friends. And he asked me, he said, you have a card? Because I want to give her your number. Give her your card. I want her to call you. I said, sure. He said, my wife don't have friends. He said, even me. He said, you know who my best friends are apart from God? And he said, everything you see here, it belongs to God. I'm just a steward of it. So that blessed my soul even more, you know, because that's one of the things I believe. All this earthly stuff that people get jealous of you over, it ain't even ours. It belongs to God. He just made certain folks stewards over certain things, you see. And when you leave, you're leaving this stuff in this earth, you know. So that's the stuff that people gain the whole world for and losing their soul for stuff you can't even take with you. Oh, and have mercy. But he said, my best friend, apart from God, my wife. He said that. He pointed to his little dog. He had this expensive shepherd-looking dog, very playful little dog. He said, that's my best friend. And he said, he had two guys over there working for him. He said, I monitor folk. You know, if I get somebody to hire somebody, I monitor what they do and stuff like that. He said, I don't have to work, you know. And he said, you got to keep folk away from you. Not because you don't want to help folks, still help people. He said, but the envy and the jealousy, it never stops. He said, I'm 71 years old. I've helped a lot of people, still help people. And to this day, a lot of folk are jealous and envious of me and my wife. So it never stops. We just got to learn how to move around it and take heed to wise counsel. And then he told me, he said, sweetheart, you're a hard worker. He said, follow me. I want to show you something. I got something for you. So he showed me around his property. I followed him. He took me to this piece of equipment, or tool, should I say. I'm not going to say what it is, but he took me to this thing. He said, that's yours. And I looked at him.
Proceed to the highlighted route.
He said, that's yours. He said, you can have that. I'm going to invest that in you. He said, I see what you're doing. You can have it. Now, what he gave me is worth $1,500, right? And I didn't really know how to react because it was something that I had thought about purchasing in the past, but I wasn't really sure that maybe in the future I would have probably purchased. But I was still debating on if I should get this thing or not, if I really needed it. And here this man, this angel unaware that I ran into yesterday, he gave it to me. And of course, the size of it, I couldn't take it with me yesterday because I wasn't prepared to just be given this gift randomly like that. So he said, you come back and I'll have my guys load this for you. But he said, this is yours. You have it here. And so I was lost for words yesterday after meeting that guy. I did a lot of pondering and thinking, and I'm thinking like, why me? just things I was talking to God about. I never really had anyone to, over the course of my life, you know, I'm a giver. I'm a giving person. For those who really know me, if they tell you the truth, even some of the folk who've put their mouths against me, even some of the folk who were frenemies, folk can tell you if they're honest, I've always been a giver. Even if it's just a simple meal, you know, even if it's just my time, my resources, sharing something I already have. But I've always been a giver. I've never really had anyone to give me anything. I've never really been celebrated. I'm 36. I'll be 37 June 13th. I'll be 37 by the grace of God. I've never in my life even had a birthday, you know, so it's just always been a normal day. I always ask God just to give me health and strength, and that's more than enough for me, you know, as long as I'm alive. Health and strength, that's money, you know. But I've never really been celebrated, never really been given anything worth value, you know. I've been given things, but they were things that, you know how folk give you stuff, but it's something that's convenient to them, but never give you anything that is just above and beyond. That's something that you're really, really, that could benefit you, or something that just make you go, wow, you know, why me? So that kind of took me by surprise yesterday. Not kind of, it did. It took me by surprise yesterday. So I just was reflecting a lot on yesterday, and one of the things that, you know, I don't know how to describe the emotions I felt of hearing when he was saying how he's 71, his wife is 60, and people are still jealous of them, which I know you're gonna have that, right? Especially when they're so successful. But it never ends. When he said it never ends, you know, it never ends, people of God. As long as we're in this earth, when folks see that you got the favor of the Father, the enemy will use whomever he may. You know, it never ends. And you would think that at some point people would realize, well, the reason that they're blessed, or the reason that they're doing well, is because they're pleasing the Father. You would think that's, you know, some people would just want to please the Father. God has no respect of persons. What he did for them, what he's doing for the next person, what he did for me, what he's done for anybody else, he could do it for you. He could do it for all of us. So, you know, I don't know. I guess it was just something that I was pondering over, you know. But the man just blessed my soul. He just blessed my soul. And I'm looking forward to hearing from his wife, and whatever advice she's going to give me, whatever information she's going to feed to me, share with me. I'm open to all of it. You know, I love wisdom, you know. I love listening to wise folk just sit and talk, you know, folk that can plant some good seeds in your spirit, you know. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share. Yesterday I was really, really quiet and pondering on a lot of what the angel, my elder, had spoken to me. And then what happened with his wife. You know, it's unfortunate. Sometimes when you're blessed, you want to bring folk with you or share what you got with folk, but whatever's in a person's heart, you can give folk the coat off of your back, you can give them the shoes off your feet. And I'm a living witness now. I'm telling you, you can give them the shoes off your feet. You can give somebody everything. You can give them your money, and you know, when you earn money, you're using your time, your life, to earn resources, whether it be something you enjoy doing, or something that, you know, for the moment that you just have to do for the time until you can get to where you can do something you enjoy doing. Either way, that's your resources. And if you share that with somebody, and they don't appreciate it. They don't appreciate you. They don't appreciate your life. They don't appreciate your time. And no matter how much you give someone, you can't give someone to the point of making them see your value. You can't give someone to the point of making them love you. You can't make somebody love you. We all have free will. You can't make somebody appreciate you. It has to be within a person. So it does us well when we just take life for what it is. You know, when we see folks treachery, when we see the envious in folk, when we see the jealousy in folk, separate. Call it, see it for what it is. You know, swallow the hard pill of, man, this person might be so close to me, but I gotta let him go. I gotta let this thing die, right? Like Usher said, I gotta let it burn. May not be the same situation, but you get what I'm saying. Let it burn, baby. You gotta let it burn. So anyway, I'm just sharing my little chit chat for this morning. We out and about. I hope you guys continue to have a wonderful day. It's gonna be a pretty day. It's already a pretty day. It's gonna be warm today too. Might get to put these toes in some beach water, lake water today. We shall see. All right, people of God, that's what I wanted to share. My conversation with my elder, the angel that I entertained on earth yesterday. Very wise man. Very wise man. I thank God for that encounter. And I hope you all have a blessed day. Know that your girl loves you. Let's keep letting our light shine bright. You know, anytime we try to do good, evil is always going to be present. But that doesn't mean we have to stop doing good. We were created for such a time as this. And remember what I said this morning. They're surrounded by many snakes. But the power, we have more power, more stronger than them all. What is inside of us is more powerful than every snake. That's why they have to team up. That's why a lot of folk have to team up against God's people. They can't stand alone. You know, eagles fly alone. Right? And they ain't got no discipline in their life neither. Just all snaggle around. But anyway, people of God, I love you. Have a blessed day. Let's continue to let our light shine. Let's go be great in this earth. Let's dominate. Let's love. Let's bring peace. Let's bring unity. And let's be strategic about how we move around all these snakes. All right. I love you.